you properly. Hello? No, no, not at all. Very low and disturbance is there. Hello?
Now it's okay?
No, no. Some sound is coming. No, your voice is not at all audible.
Now check.
Hello?
Hello. Is it okay
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Now it's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. You increase your volume, system value, so it will be better like for us.
Yeah, yeah, it's on maximum only. I increased the volume already. Yeah, now it's okay. Your voice.
Okay, good. So coming to yesterday, we have discussed Abdul a test plan as part of our STLC.
Okay, actually
So
I didn't have
now
the recordings of yesterday and day before yesterday class. So I should ask him, huh?
you ask him, or
To
otherwise
say.
you can ping now also. But yesterday I didn't send my PPTs because there are four PPTs, so there is no much. So I
Okay.
didn't send. Today, I'll send what up to what extent we have discussed. Okay.
Okay, after this class I will talk
So
to him.
recordings actually, like you can ask him. At
Yeah, I
the
will
same
ask
time,
him.
this PPTs I'm going to send to him, so he is going to send a mail. Okay.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So coming to test plan, we have completed yesterday what is actually test plan, and we have uh, so many things actually discussed as part of test plan, what it contains, and who will prepare test plan, what is your role as part of test plan we have discussed. Now we are entered into the test case design. So this is very important, and being a tester and tester role, you have to write so many test cases as part of your day-to-day activities.
Okay.
So, what is the main actually for testing? Test case is a main thing.
Okay.
So already I told you like test case is the main thing. With the help of test case, you will check the functionality. So once the requirements are actually handed over to testing team. One second.
Okay.
Please hold on. Hello.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, thanks for waiting. Okay. So the main important thing is once we receive the requirements, what we will do, we will go through the requirements. Then we'll prepare high level scenarios or test cases, like which is actually feasible for your project.
Okay.
So some guys what they will do, they will break the system into different high level scenarios. Suppose you have IRCTC. So as we discussed, let me open any website so you can understand
Okay.
properly. any website like which is visible. Amazon want to log in, so you'll open Amazon. So Amazon your client, and
Okay.
they have given their Amazon.com or Amazon.in
Okay.
project, and they have given the requirements, but we don't have any requirements as of now. So based on the application, we are framing the requirements. Am I right?
Yes.
Because we don't have an option of seeing the requirements because we can't able to. So now Amazon. So how requirements look like? Now we will see. So requirement ID
Hey, is there possibility to increase your font? I can't see properly.
is okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's okay. Right.
Okay, I'm just framing the requirement format. Requirement ID, requirement description. Suppose any other information like which is required to like dependency. That requirement have some dependencies. Who is the author for this? And comments. Suppose like we are framing one small requirement document for our understanding purpose. Okay. So now we are entered into the requirement. We got requirement document. It looked like this. Requirement ID is RQ0001. Description. So based on the Amazon side, we will prepare some requirements. So Amazon actually given a requirement of Amazon logo should be available in the left side top. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the requirement discussion. Amazon logo should is available in top left corner.
Okay.
If possible, they will give the sorry. Okay.
Okay.
If possible, they will give the logo or some of the documents like software requirements only look like this. But whereas a BRS actually this is BRS requirement document or BRS or okay. But whereas a SRS, how it look like, they will give such kind of screenshot. So they will take the screenshot, they will give such a way. Let me open MS Paint. Because once a developer gone through the requirements, what they will do, they will go and they will prepare some kind of prototypes or blueprints or some kind of functional specification requirements. Nah? So what they will do, they will just put like this. They will
Okay.
so this is the logo. They want to look like this. Suppose VRS is like this. SRS I am not writing any format because SRS format is normally like it will be in document or somewhere else. What is this? Some kind of document. Usually it will come in Word document. Let me open Word document like this. What they will give, this is your SRS, software requirement specification. They'll mention this is the requirement ID 001. Such kind of actually information give for this particular requirement and mention this is the logo and it should be available in top corner. This is the actually validation you have to do as a tester. You got my point? Are you following me?
Yes, fine.
So now what I have done, I have prepared one requirement and that SRS contains like how it look like and where it will be available. Where it will be available, that means from BRS you will understand, and but SRS like how it look like. Okay,
Okay.
both together you frame something. Okay, so you have to write a test case for this. So now I'm just giving a test case format. This is it's a common format. It varies from project to project. So you don't go with the common format. So you add some more fields or delete some more fields, and based on your project you can say that. But some of the mandatory fields should be available in that particular format. I am writing the format anyway. Like before going to that, I will show some kind of information which is available in the PPT, so you can understand very easily. So what we are discussing now, test case. So what is test case? Test case is a description what to be tested and what is what data to be given and what action need to be performed to check the actual against the expected. So what he is saying that test case is a description of what to be tested. So what to be tested means like this is the actually items in the test cases. Items are in the test cases, test case number. Just I'm framing for you the which is available, so it will be easy to frame later also. Like you can write any test case and precondition. So you have to write test case like this. So this is the real time, like you have to do your job. Expected result, actual result.
Actually,
So status. Suppose I am giving the same fields which is very standard and very unique, very common, not unique, very common. Okay.
okay.
So now I have test case format is ready. Let me change the color so you can. This is okay now. So our test case look like this, and this is our test case format. Let me put this. Okay, this is my format. Now format is ready. I need to write some test cases. Okay, but for this, like you have to understand what is test case number. Test case number is a unique number. Okay, you can give as per your testing naming conventions. So I will tell you what is naming conventions here. Naming convention. Okay, naming conventions are you are giving some name to any kind of actually test case. Okay, here we are following some naming conventions which you have to follow while writing test cases. Got my point?
Yes.
So this should be unique because you are working in a project which is having 10 to 15 people, maybe like more than that or maybe less than that. Everybody have some unique format they will follow. Then only it will be easy while consultation, because I have 100 requirements. I will distribute it to 5 people. So how like I have distributed here? Four people, let us assume. So I have given first person 30 requirements, second person 20, and third person 30, fourth person 20. Suppose this is my actually requirements I have shared to my team. Okay. So if he writes test case number some XYZ and other person write ABC and other person like 1 2 3 and some other person write some 654, suppose, let us assume. So while consultation I need to give actually consultation report to client. So what I will do, this 30 test cases, this 20 test cases, this 30 from all the 4 people, what I will do, I will collect, I will send in a single document, okay, to client or the concerned person. So what I will do, I will consolidate and I will send all these 100 test cases to my client or concerned person. At that time, if you have given like test case number some XYZ, some more person has given some other name like ABC, and some other person actually given 1, 2, 3. So everything actually it is not a unique format, am I right?
Yes.
So to make everybody should be in a unique format, what we will do, these naming conventions, your test lead or test manager or who are actually working on the testing, they will just frame something like your test case number should be like test case 001. Okay,
Same,
this is
same
your
for all
format.
companies mostly.
Hmm?
Same format for all the companies.
No, not like formats, this kind of actually stuff. Now it will change some project to project. Even there is no standard format for a company, but they will prepare some standard format. But according to your project, you can change. So your client, your manager, your lead will decide which is the feasible uh, naming conventions and to follow in your project actually. So I'm just for understanding purpose, I'm giving test case 001. So,
Okay.
so this is my test case number. Okay.
Okay.
Here actually I'm adding one more column. Test steps, because this is we will follow. So here actually test case number is unique number, and you have to give a unique number, because while doing, if any test case fail or any test case pass, what you will do, this test case number 001 is pass.
Okay.
Am I right? So
Yeah.
test case number 1, what is the status? If somebody asks, this is pass.
Pass.
For this purpose, you should be unique. Suppose what actually in the normal scenario, as a lead, like I have shared my requirements to 4 people. If they follow like the unique naming conventions, while doing any consultation, what I will do, I will take your work and some all the other 3 persons work, and I will put in a one Excel sheet or one the required area. What I will do, I will copy and paste and make it as a unique, and I will send as a single document. Not required to share 4 or 5 documents, and he has to go through the 5 or 6 documents, and he has to understand what is actually happening. So what I will do, I will collect by evening what is actually the people testers written the test cases. I will collect and I will consolidate in a one single document. I will share to the concerned person. So this is real time. Okay.
Okay.
So for this you have to understand the naming conventions. Naming conventions are actually it will change from project to project, but you have to ask like naming conventions, what naming conventions I have to follow. Suppose if you are a only single person, so you are working for one project, suppose you ask like what naming conventions I will follow to your lead or maybe your manager. So if he told like, okay, you go Srikanth as you wish, but it should be like in a good format. Suppose he given a free decision from uh, decision to you, you have to take your own decisions. At that time, you have to know the unique like standard format. For this, I am telling the standard format. Okay.
Okay.
So test case name should be unique, and it should be like test case 001 like this. Okay. And coming to precondition. So what is actually we are going to add? Suppose like sometimes actually people will ask you to put the requirement ID also, because there should be mapping between the both. Okay.
Okay.
So if you know like the requirement ID, and if you know the test case number, so you have an understand like, okay, for this requirement ID, I'm writing my test case. This is the test case number. Suppose if I ask, okay, requirement ID 001, how many test cases you have written? Okay, I have written 3 test cases for this particular requirement ID. You can say that easily. This is called actually one second. This is called the mapping between the requirements and the test cases.
Okay.
So we will discuss requirement traceability matrix after everything completed. That is actually the real time. So you will be confused now if I tell requirement traceability matrix. Okay.
Okay.
So you understand up to this test case number and requirement ID. What is our requirement ID? RQ underscore 001. Just I am giving for understanding purpose.
Okay.
Don't go with the exact values. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So now you understand the what is test case number and requirement ID. Then
Yeah.
precondition. What is this precondition? Precondition I think nothing but to execute this test case what you require. Okay. So now actually only you are drafting this. You are preparing a test case. But once the code is available, you have to execute the test case. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
So to execute this test case, something should be available. Then only you can proceed your execution. Otherwise, you can't able to proceed. Am I right?
Yes.
So for this, what is required? Code should be available. Code is the precondition. I mean, application should be available. Here I am writing code, but what is this? This application.
Okay.
Okay, application should be available. Then only you can go and execute it. Otherwise, you can't do anything. So that is the first one. So you can mention how many preconditions, like what are the dependencies for this test case. You can mention by giving numbers also. You can understand easily. And before actually starting your execution, if somebody sees that or anybody actually ask like what is the prerequisite to start your execution. By seeing this, you can understand. Oh, yeah. By seeing all your test cases, there are 100 test cases. So you can just by that you can frame that. Okay, these are the actually main things required to execute my test cases. If you lead or your manager or your client asks, "Are you prepared the test case?" Okay, I have prepared. So are you ready to proceed the execution? Okay. Any dependencies are there? Yeah, I have some dependencies. So these are my dependencies. By preconditions, by test case, by writing test case, you can understand. Okay, these are the things actually I require.
Okay.
So application is required. Some suppose application should be available and roles. Suppose roles. What is roles? I will tell you now. So here actually we have. Now I didn't log in. I have directly actually entered. Am I right? There is no login. It is asking me to sign in. Suppose you have some application, Amazon application in your testing environment. What actually normally will it look like? It look like a user can able to log in, and which logins? Like there are manager logins, there are representative logins, there are customer logins, there are so many logins actually they will give, and that application should work for all. Suppose I am a customer login, am I right? Right now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So if one customer actually log in and he has done any kind of activities in that application should work. Am I right?
Yeah.
In the same way, Amazon actually administrator, Amazon maintenance, site maintenance, and Amazon actually buyers and customers, and some of the people who has actually joined as a Amazon some kind of actually they will do some trading through Amazon. So if I have some goods, what I will do, I will just log in as a seller, and I will log into the Amazon site, and I will put my products in my Amazon website. So for that seller login is required.
Yes.
So here who are the actually main persons? One is a customer, one is an administrator, because somebody have to maintain the site now. So many new products will come, and existing products are actually will go out. They have to remove all this. Administration is required. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And on top of sellers, and so many people will available. So for this, what they will do, they will create a list of users, a list of roles. You got my point now?
Yes, yes.
To execute this test case, you need roles also, am I right?
Yeah.
Because you need to check all the roles which are working properly or not.
Okay.
So for this, it is required. In such a way, you can just, which is the dependent thing, you can mention here. So that is called precondition and description.
Logo.
What is a description? That means what we are going to test. So description is validating logo.
Logo. Okay.
So that is our test description.
Okay.
So for this, actually what you will do, you will write some steps. So first you have to do log into application. Okay. Then verify a logo is available at left side top. Suppose that is your validation. Let us assume. Okay.
Actually, no
So,
need to write like type URL amazon.com or .in. No need.
see, that is, you can write it, but normally log into application means here actually, if if you want to give, you can give like Amazon.com or .in, which is
Okay.
fine. That is not a big deal, but that is actually the best case how it look like. It should be actually having complete information. But
Okay.
normally it is possible or not. Once you are actually entered into the field, you can understand. But now I have to tell what is actually the reality. So log into application. What is your application? It is more than enough. Nobody doesn't ask you give the Amazon.com. But to make sure like you have to give complete information, your test case should be complete information. There is should not be if conditions. There should not be actually any ambiguity. Such kind of actually standard will be there to make
Okay.
sure the test case should be readable and understand to everybody. That is the purpose. For that they
Okay.
will say this kind of standards. But here actually once you entered, like you can write this login and log out, or maybe log into this application and validate your functionality. You will write 500 test case, 500 times you have to write.
Okay.
So
Okay.
normally 500,000 test cases not required. Only what application you are going to work. Suppose you are actually log into multiple applications. Suppose not only Amazon, there are 3 4 applications you are actually validating. At that time you have to mention what application you are going to work. So log into Amazon application, write a simple way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So on top of like you can give some more information also in the description, validating logo. What this is a description. The preconditions. Some guys sometimes actually what the people will give, they will prepare some test data also parallelly. So test data. So what is test data? Test data is a input for your test case to validate the test functionality. So here actually test data is nothing but what is the test data you require. For this you need a login credentials, am I right?
Yeah. Username, password.
Login credentials. So that is required.
Okay.
So username, what is username? What is password? Password you should not mention in Excel sheet. How you will mention username is Srikam underscore 001. Suppose 0010. This is your
Okay.
username.
Okay.
Uname. Mention uname. Uname.
Okay.
Okay. Login. How you have to write your login? Login XXX. Because you should not visible to all the people.
Okay.
Because login is a confidential thing. You should not share to anybody. Oh, sorry.
Password.
Password. Okay, password is confidential, you should not share. So this is the way you have to follow while writing test data. So, suppose your application requires so many list of information required, you have to mention in the test data. So sometimes actually you will prepare test data while parallelly, or sometimes once test cases are ready, then only you can understand some of the dependencies and all this actually you will analyze. Then you will add this test data as a test data column. Okay. So now we understand what is test case number, requirement ID, precondition, test data, description, and test steps are actually validation points. How you will approach to your application. So once the like test steps are completed, you have to write the expected results. That is actually you have to validate. Am I right?
Yeah.
So what is the expected result here? So what is the validation? Tell me. Verify the logo available in the left side top. So now the expected result should be logo should be available at left side top. That is your expected result. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
This should be available because this is the our requirement, and the end result should be like this. Then only that particular test case is passed.
Passed. Okay.
So like after like, so now test case is ready. So you have mentioned. So while test case writing, only this, up to this extent you will write. So when you will write these two columns, so up to, I will just change the colors for your understanding. This is very hard. Let me put like this. Okay, now you can understand this is the test case time, writing time. What we will do, we will write up to this. Because now you don't know like what is the actual result. Once you got a code, and while executing only you will understand what will be the actual result. Am I right?
Yes.
Then only you can say that that is pass or fail.
Fail. Okay.
So this is the way you can write your test case. Up to test case writing, this is the process. So now we are actually going back to our Excel, PPT, so you can understand what is actually test case. So what do we have written?
Actually, remarks column, what should we write the remarks?
Remarks means you can write any comments kind of. Suppose you want any kind of actually follow-up required for this test case, or this case test case is not completed 100%. Okay. You need to work on it. Any kind of actually information you want to add, you can add those. It's a kind of comments or remarks. You can give anything. So here actually, suppose any dependency, suppose you don't know like this complete test case is completed or not. So if there is no remarks, it is completed. Suppose you have actually started one test case, but some of the information is not available. Suppose like we'll just what I will do, I will copy the same and I will change. Suppose like you have written 10 test cases, after 11th test case you are missing something. You don't have some information. Okay, that is requirement 5. Suppose for this requirement 5 you have some more information required to write test case. At that time what you will do? You will write need some more info. Okay. So by seeing this you can understand, okay, what information required. Suppose need roles information. Okay. Because you don't have a roles user roles. What are the roles actually? I need to validate this requirement. You don't have that information, so you are mentioning that information is required. So you need to do some follow up to the concerned person. Okay, this particular requirement, what role I need to test, what role need to be tested, so please send the information. Such kind of actually follow up you have to do. So after 100 test cases, you can't identify where I have to, what is the information missing, what test cases I need to follow. Suppose any information missing, you can't able to go each and every test case. Once again, you can't do analysis every time. By seeing the remarks, you can understand easily, I have missed this. Okay, I need to follow up this. So if there are no remarks, no need to worry. Am I right?
Yes.
So that is the actually useful useness of this remarks. Okay, so now we are written the test case and test cases are ready. So we have written a proper test cases for all our requirements. So now I'll give some more information. So now requirements, number of requirements, requirement number 1, 10. Suppose there are nine requirements for my project are released.
Okay.
So here I will tell the RTM. What is RTM? Requirement traceability.
Matrix.
What is this RTM? They will ask in interviews. You have to say that requirement traceability matrix. But what is actually it contains? So you have to understand. Now I am going to explain what is the requirement traceability matrix. But you can do in your Excel sheet, or you can do which is the tool your client is going to use. Okay? Are you following me?
Yeah, okay. Following.
Okay. So now the requirement IDs, what are the requirement ID? These are the requirement IDs. So up to now you are clear, na?
Yeah. Yes.
Srikanth?
Yeah, clear.
Writing test cases, how to write test cases, what is the each field like test case number, requirement ID, preconditions, test data, description, steps, expected results, and actual results, status, remarks, and all this. So
Okay.
now actually I'm covering this requirement traceability matrix also for better understanding.
Okay.
So again, like maybe if I miss later, you will feel in confusion. So I am covering the requirement traceability now. Okay, now requirement ID is available, and we have requirement IDs, and we have test case IDs also.
Yeah.
Any comments you want to add, you can add. I mean, this is not a this is a standard format, but you can add few more fields, delete not deleted. You can add some more fields you want to require. So now for the requirement ID, I have 5 test cases. Suppose I written 5 test cases. So now what I have done, I have written test case. So 11 test cases I have written, and requirement ID is for each, like I got only test case requirement number. I got test case 2 also for the same, and the test case requirement ID 3 and 4 I have requirement 2. For that I have written these 2 test cases, and requirement 3 I have written only 1 test case. Requirement 4 I have written 3 test cases, and requirement 304 I have written only 1, and requirement 5 I have written 5 or 6. Suppose this is the way actually you have written. Okay. So requirement 1 I have written how many test cases? By seeing this you can easily understand. I am just adding the filter for understanding. So requirement 1. What is the requirement 1? I have written 2 test cases. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, and requirement 4. How many test cases I have written? Only 1. So in such a way actually you can add and you can work on it. So for this actually you have to send the requirement traceability also. All the requirements are covered, and how many test cases actually you have written for that.
Which one?
So here actually 9. Hello.
Hello? Just once again explain the previous point.
Yeah, what you want? Tell me.
Like, actually, how many test cases you have wrote for the requirement 1 and 4? Just once
Suppose
again.
like there is an example I'm just giving. We have requirements 6. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
For this, we have written test case. 11 test cases I have written.
Okay,
Got my point? But
okay.
in the traceability matrix, you have to give. Okay, now I will just delete this remaining because only we have 6 requirements.
Yes.
So what is traceability matrix? Mapping between requirements and test cases defects.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose up to once like you have finished your test cases, this is the actually requirement traceability you are going to send. If after defects actually you can add one more column and how many defects you will find, we will discuss later. Up to now you just understand what is requirement to traceability. So now requirement 1, how many test cases I have written? So by seeing filter you can understand easily how many test cases I have written. Requirement 1.
2.
2. So requirement IDs and one more actually column I will add for our more understanding. Number of test cases. Okay, number of TC. So now we will just fill these 4 columns. Sorry, selected everything. Okay. So now this is my requirement traceability matrix, and I need to fill and I need to send for more understanding. So number of requirements are 6, and I need to give the how many test cases I have written for this particular requirement. So now I have written test case number 001, comma test case
2.
number 002 I have written for this particular requirement. Am I right?
Okay, okay.
So this is the 2 requirements I have covered as part of this requirement. And test case IDs, sorry, let me correct it. I need to give this information here. And test case, number of test case 2.
2.
Okay.
Okay.
So in such a way you will give all this information. Suppose you want to add any comments or remarks, you can add here. Okay. Understand?
Yeah.
Comments or remarks are nothing but you want to give any additional information, you can give it. There is no such why comments and requirements remarks are required. Okay. So now number of
Just
test
write it.
cases how many? 11.
Okay, yes.
And number of requirements 6. And IDs are not required. So you can understand, okay, I have covered all the requirements and I have given test cases for this particular requirements. So for to understand the coverage and to understand how many test cases you have written for each requirement and those test IDs, and some more guys actually they will add some more fields also for your understanding. I'm giving this. They will add functionality also. Suppose these 2 test cases is talking about the login, and these 2 test cases are verifying the logo, and remain these particular requirements are talking about the orders. We are talking about the Amazon. That's what actually I'm giving this kind of. Okay, and this test case, this particular number of test cases is talking about the some more. What is the functionality? Can you tell any other functionality in the Amazon? We'll take suppose search functionality. Okay,
Okay.
search. So such kind of actually information also give. So client understand or your manager understand. Okay, for the login, okay, we have 2 test cases. For logo, we have 4 test cases. Suppose search, we have 1 test case. Orders, we have 5 test cases. In such a way, he can understand all the functionalities are covered. How many test cases are actually you have written and what are the IDs. Suppose like one functionality is actually like it is pushed to next release because the code is not available this time. That particular functionality we are not executing the functionality this release, we are going to execute as part of next release. Okay. So we can give some like we are not executing due to code is not available. Okay. Or if you require any information from the client side for this particular functionality, we need roles are required. Suppose you want to ask something, roles are required. Okay, you can give your comments. So then client understand, okay, he needs some dependency, I need to provide that. Or your manager or your developer or which are actually the concerned person, they will provide you the roles and code is actually not available. Okay, so you can understand next release that code should be available and he will actually do some follow up with the developers. Okay, why you are not actually developed this time? So these dependencies are there. Okay, no problem. I will just give next release. Actually, make sure this particular functionality should add it to the code. I mean application. Such kind of actually requirement traceability they will maintain and they will understand your status. Got my point, Sikant?
Yes.
So like this is the real time actually what you will do, you will write so many test cases. For that requirements, if you want to prepare high level scenarios also, high level scenarios how it look like, suppose scenario, serial number, scenario, name, scenario description, comments or remarks. Okay, suppose like by experience I am just framing all this, no need to worry. By writing so many kind of test cases you will be habituated this. So I will give exercises, this kind of exercises to you and will just make sure you as a real time what you are going to work and if you write more number of test cases by given so many exercises, so you will be habituated all this, no need to worry. Okay, so now serial number 1, so scenario name, login. So instead of like writing test cases, it takes a lot of time because sometimes actually what your client will ask, okay, have you gone through the requirements? If he asks this such type of questions, oh yeah, I have gone through the requirements. So what will be your status? So or otherwise he wants to test you whether you are understand properly or not.
Okay.
So to write test cases we need 2-3 days.
Yeah.
At least based on requirements. Suppose you have 100 requirements, it takes 1 week. Suppose you have only 5 requirements, it takes 1 day.
1 day.
Maybe for 1 day, like no need to prepare high level scenarios and all this. Directly you can write test cases. If you have 500 requirements and that 500 requirements, you can't able to go through each and every test cases. To prepare test cases, it takes 1 week or 10 days or 15 days based on the criticality and big application or small application. Okay, so at that time what you will do normally, so once you go through the test requirements, you will prepare a small kind of high level scenarios. So high level scenarios, login, cancel ticket.
Okay.
These are the scenario name. So what you are going to do in a one liner, you will write verify, cancel, ticket, functionality. Simple.
Okay.
So he can understand, okay, these guys are actually working on this and this is the functionality and this is the description. So this kind of actually you will produce to your end customer or client or your manager you are working. properly. So if any deviations, any understanding issues, you can ask at the time of high level scenarios also. Instead of writing so many test cases, after that if you send all the test cases for review or maybe for his purpose, at that time your test cases are not actually more information which I am expected. So such kind of actually queries will come up. So to avoid all this, you'll what you will do, you will just frame high level scenarios and share to the business people or your client or your manager or XYZ. So I have shared this. Could you please go through this and let me know any deviations or additions required. So that is actually some, you have taken an agreement. Okay, you have done something that is correct or not. If it is correct, you will go according to next stage. So such kind of actually scenarios, we will do high level scenarios if project is very big, because they want results like after 5 days. If we ask like what you have done, instead of that daily, like if you share the high level scenarios, or maybe first 2 days you are going to share high level scenarios, like first day and off, next day off, you will share all high level scenarios, then you will start testing. So you can understand these guys are working something.
Okay.
Such kind of actually clients also there in the software industry, to satisfy them. And instead of like 500 test cases, your manager doesn't understand sometimes. Okay, so what he will do, will ask you to prepare the high level scenarios for his understanding. No need to go in each and every step for understanding. For his understanding, okay, I prepare the high level scenarios and to me. Such kind of actually uh, time, like we have to prepare all this. So normally the tendency will be going through the requirements, and any understanding issues you can send a mail or you can just record as a one kind of this is requirements, and after this they have shared to you. So let me add one more sheet actually here. So we need one more sheet. What I am doing is I'm just copying here. This is a requirement. What you will do, once you have gone through the requirement, you have any doubts, you can mention in the comments, this requirement is not clear, could you please provide more information, but this is not actually informative, could you please provide some more information. You can write it, you can send to the concerned person. You understand?
Yes.
So or you put like this requirement is not complete, please give a complete information for testing team understanding. So you will put all the information in your comments, or maybe you can put like this also, tester, testing team comments, and you can ask business comments. Okay, so you will write XYZ here, something what you require, and business people will give some their information after, like once you shared up to this, they will add their information. Okay, we will just make it, we will add complete information and update requirement accordingly. Okay, so you use your requirement ID formats also like this, but don't change the existing requirement. You will take that complete information and you will add this your information in another Excel sheet, will share to the client. Once it is actually resolved, now requirements are okay for you. So what you will do, you will take and prepare high level scenarios, and then test case preparation. Okay, then test data is sometimes you will prepare parallelly or at the time of execution. So which is feasible, okay?
Okay.
And then code is ready. Once code is ready, execute and publish the results. Suppose before publish the results, find any defects, report to dev or concerned person. Okay, so this is the flow actually. So now we will come to our Excel PPT for understanding. So now you understand what is test case and what is actually the test case contains. Srikant?
Yes, yes.
So I have covered traceability matrix, requirement, how your requirement format look like this, how your what is actually your BRS contains, how it look like. Maybe it change from project to project and all this, but you have to understand the basic information. What is it contains? It doesn't change if you go any project. Okay.
Okay.
So what is BRS contains? It is having requirements. Okay. And what is actually your SRS contains? It is having some more information which you are going to validate. Am I right?
Yes.
And on top of the formats we have discussed, how your test case look like this, what it contains, while executing, like while writing test cases, how you will write and what are the fields you have to cover. So here actually we will just use this point later. Test cases are reusable. That means like one test case is we have written this particular. Okay, we'll discuss now because it will be pending later. No need to put this as small topic. So now you have written some test cases.
Okay.
Okay, you have written 10 test cases or 15 test cases. Suppose this is the release one. One. So we have 4 releases. Suppose. Okay, we have 4 releases. So release 1 you have written 11 test cases. So next month we have one more release, and in that release we are getting 7 requirements. Suppose. So this time actually we have 6, and next release we have 7 requirements. At that time what you will do? You have to validate those 7 requirements and your existing requirements also, because the complete application you have to verify and you have to deliver. Am I right? Got me? You are following me, Srikant?
Yes. Yes.
So Amazon actually given already 6 requirements. This is application is actually available. Now what I will do? This search bar actually not. It is looking very big. It should be very small because my
Okay.
space is waste. So
Yeah.
my website space is waste. Instead of this much of big, what I will do? I will make it small, and I will put some more information here instead of this.
Okay.
Such kind of requirement has come up. Got my requirement, like what is actually the client expectation now. So what is the client expectation now? Now 6 requirements are actually developed and it is gone, testing you have done and you have released and application is ready. This complete application now with the 6 requirements. Okay. But this after this month release, next month release is coming up. So in this 7 new requirements are actually he has come up with. So what is the one requirement? Let me explain about the new requirement. New requirement which is coming to the next release. So what is that? Search bar should be small. This is the one, and add some XYZ functionality I mean XYZ, instead of XYZ, add
More tabs.
some promotion
Okay.
pick. Okay.
Okay.
So this is his client requirement. So here actually two functionalities are adding. One is existing functionality is changing and new functionality is going to add. But if you are actually adding this new functionality, definitely you have to verify all the release one which is actually available in the application. Am I right?
Yes.
So what is actually here saying that test cases are reusable. Why test cases are reusable? Test case developed by the functionality testing used by integration, system and regression and performance testing and other modifications. So it will be used for you once again as a functional testing, and as the same test cases automation people will take from manual tester while doing automation also, and performance testers they what they will do, they take functional testing as an input and they will do performance some modifications according to their requirement. They will change and they will execute. So these test cases are reusable. So it is an interview question also. Is it test cases are reusable? Yes, test cases are reusable. How? So the test cases which are returned, it will be reusable. Suppose, let me give an example. I have written as a functional tester, I have written my test cases, the same test cases with the small modifications. Performance testing team will use it, automation testing and security testing, some other testing team will also use. Even I will also use for the next releases. Am I right?
Yes.
So, and you what you will do, you will use the same test cases and you will do some modifications in this existing and copy and paste. You can actually write test cases easily. So instead of writing everything, so small changes which are actually new functionality in this test case, you can modify and you can prepare very fast instead of writing everything. Am I right?
Yeah.
And every release, like, okay, here actually you have to understand. I'll give few more information also. What is regression and what is retesting? Okay, regression and retesting. So this is also a new interview question. So let me explain about the regression and retesting. Suppose here actually we have some flow, what where we have written the flow, we have written here. So here actually there is a defects. Okay, anyway I'm going to discuss once again, but you have to understand the entire flow. That is the reason actually I'm giving this information also. So here what you have done, you have found some defects that need to be actually report. Once what is actually happened, I'm just adding few more. Once defect is fixed, and again retest. Okay, because once you have raised one issue and you are a tester, I am a developer. What you will do? You are assigned to me. Am I right?
Yes.
Then what I will do? I will fix it and I will send to you, because that particular functionality is not working. I have to work on that and I have to make sure it should be work. And then once it is fixed, I will intimate Srikanth that particular defect number 123 is fixed. Please retest. So this communication, how we will do this communication, we will discuss. Okay,
Okay.
at the time of defect life cycle. Okay, but here actually you have to understand one more thing. Defect is fixed, then that particular defect is, you have to retest. Am I right?
Yeah.
That is called retesting. But whereas the regression testing, because of existing defect fix, because of existing defect fix, any deviation in adjusting functionality. Okay, you understand? Now I will explain. Let me open the application. So suppose a new one defect actually you have found, that particular Amazon logo is there. Suppose category, if you are actually click on the category, that particular category is not working. Suppose.
Okay. Okay.
So you have report shop by category is not working. Could you please fix it? So once it is fixed, okay. Suppose this is actually you are tested. You have clicked on this. It is actually not working. Empty page is coming up. So you have reported. Initially it was empty page. There is nothing is displayed here. But
Yeah.
once it is fixed, you do retesting. Everything is displayed. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because of this, any adjusting functionality is impacted. Suppose this Amazon, your Amazon.in. If you clicked on this, it is not actually performing it functionality. It is a defect, am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So later it will be a problem. So what is actually retesting and regression testing? Retesting is nothing but validating. Once defect is fixed, you will validate particular functionality is working or not. Whereas the regression testing, because of any fixes, it is impacting on existing functionality or not, you have to check it. That is called regression testing. Are you following me? This is a very important question. What is regression and what is retesting? What is the difference between these two? These kind of actually questions in the interview will come up.
Okay.
Okay. So difference between two, retesting is once that particular defect is fixed, you are validating only retesting the functionality, the same functionality.
Particular module only we will test again, right?
Yeah, but whereas the regression, because of this, any dependent modules or adjusting functionalities impacted or not, to make sure it should work properly, we will do regression testing.
Okay.
So that is actually the intention. So now, so what we are going to discuss, third point, fourth point. What are the characteristics of 8 good test cases? So I already told there are some standards you have to follow while writing test cases. The good test case should be having this kind of actually information. So what you are testing, but particularly your test case should say that what you are going to test. Without that, there is no use. Am I right? And that particular test case is independent. Suppose you write any test case, that particular test case, if this test case is executed based on test case 5, or this, if 5 is executed, I can execute the 7 test case. Such kind of differently should be, but you have to make sure the dependent test cases. So if everything is dependent, you write like test case 5 should be executed. Such kind of actually ambiguity information if you put, there is no use. So you have to write it independent test cases for each and every functionality. And there should not be if statements. If conditions you should not use. If that particular such kind of actually information if you use, there is no clarity. Am I right? If conditions when you will use, if you have any doubt.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
There should not be doubts. That is the intention. And test case should be uniform. So I have told you why it should be uniform. If you are actually maintaining some formats and you written something, and XYZ person written something, and ABC person written something, what is the use? There is no use. My test cases are actually not uniform. So it will create so many problems. So while writing test cases, your team or you have to follow the uniformity.
Okay.
And example, action buttons, links, and all this actually, they are actually give that. You have given one example. You have to give the URL like a link, okay, and you have to give the user IDs and password information. All information should be available. So this is the format actually. So this is a sample format which is actually I have given, but anyway we have discussed each and every point actually is here. test case ID, precondition, description, expected result, actual result. Once your code is ready, what you will do? You will just verify that particular functionality is working. So you will write in the actual result that logo is displaying properly. Then status is pass. So if remarks we are already discussed. So this is done. So peer review. Now these are the very simple things. I will cover this up to this now. Okay, 2 minutes actually it is.
Okay.
Peer review means peer is nothing but within your team. Suppose you have 5 members of team. All 5 team members actually writing test cases. So there should be a review, self-review and peer review, team lead review, manager review. Why it is required? Before actually hand over your test cases to the client, definitely that particular test case should be actually informative and there should not be any ambiguity and it should actually give a proper information. For that actually there should be a review. Okay, suppose you have done some work without any review or maybe you didn't check anything. If you send to me, what I will say, yeah, Srikanth, check properly, there are a lot of mistakes. Am I right?
Yes.
So to avoid this miscommunication and like understandings and reliability from the client side, we do reviews. So peer review means within the team, like you have 5 members of team. What you will do, you will write 50 test cases. You share those test cases to your peer, and he share his test cases to you. Mutually, you will actually review. Okay, if I go through my same work, I will find like 1 or 2 issues. If I do review of your work, I will find more. Am I right?
Okay.
Because definitely we feel that we have written a good test cases.
Yeah.
But if I review your test cases, Srikanth, you have missed this. So you are actually not written this particular test case 7. It is not actually talking about the functionality. You are not covered complete functionality. Please check and change accordingly. Such kind of comments I will add in the remarks. So at the time what you will do, you will go through and you will just update according to the comments. So this is called peer review. In the same way, sometimes actually you have written your test case and you will share to your team lead. Okay, I am your team lead, you are my team member. You have written something and you will share to me and I will review. Srikanth, particular test cases are actually you have to change. I will give in the remarks or comments column. According to you have to update and then you have to send back to me and I will consolidate. Before consultation, before sending to the client, what I will do, this kind of reviews activities I will do and I will make sure the test cases are proper and informative. Okay?
Okay.
So that is the reason for this. So for this actually there are some like internal process, like I will prepare some checklist while writing test cases. I will publish the guidelines. So this particular naming convention look like this, and you have to follow this checklist. You have to add all this information in your test cases. What I will do, I will prepare some checklist and I will publish to all the people, and they have to follow the standards. If everybody is following standards, what will be happen? Your test cases will be very good shape. No need of like invest on much time on reviews. Instead of reviews, if you follow everything properly, no need, that particular time is saved to everybody. Am I right?
Yes.
If 2 times or 3 times rework if you are doing, definitely it will be a problem to my work also.
Yes.
So to avoid all this, we prepare some kind of checklist. So guidelines and all this, we will avoid all these issues which are actually facing in our test case writing. So now we will just go to test execution. So we will stop here now, because today actually what I will do, I have taken one sheet, okay, but I have explained so many things. So let me give a review for 1 minute, so you can understand what is actually we have discussed till now. So what we have done, I have shown the requirement format and what is actually BRS contain and SRS contains. And after that, what I have done, I have prepared the scenarios information. Okay.
Okay.
So based on the requirements, I'll prepare. Sometimes if manager or your client will ask, I'll take the scenarios and I will share it. Am I right?
Yes.
And after that, what I will do, I'll write the test cases. Once test cases are completed, you are completed your requirements, all the requirements. Definitely to check the status, there should be some kind of traceability. So how many requirements, how many test cases, what is the status? I want to know. So being a client, I don't have that much time. So by traceability matrix, we can understand everything simple. Am I right?
Yeah.
If I go traceability matrix, all the requirements are covered, how many test cases are coming, what are the functionalities you have done, and if any dependencies or any comments or any issues you are facing, if you share this one document, it is more than enough. Am I right?
Yes.
So that is the use of traceability matrix. We have discussed this, and we have discussed the each and every point in the test cases. And after that, we have actually discussed about the test case reusability. Okay, and then we have discussed about the standards, and
Yeah.
then the
Standard.
format actually we have discussed, and review we have discussed. So mostly I have concentrated on the review and the test case and design.
Okay.
So mostly I have gone through the real time actually. See, nobody doesn't take this much of time in the test case authoring, I mean writing traceability matrix and all this. This is the your test case. Your test case look like this. You have to write the test case like this. So they will go to the next slide. So, but this is a very important for your day-to-day activity. I have taken more time, even like not required also, but it will be helpful for your real-time experience. That is the intention. Okay.
Okay.
You have any queries, Srikant?
Actually, just I want to go through what all you
You
taught.
can go through that, but
Then I can come
as of
back
now, if you have
with
any
my
queries,
doubts
you can
tomorrow.
ask. Huh?
No, I can come back with my doubts tomorrow. Uh,
Hmm? Tomorrow at what time you will join?
Actually, my office timings are 8 to 5, so I think around 6 it will be take in my room.
6:15.
So,
Okay. Anyway,
see,
let me
actually
check.
7:30. Can we, is possible 7:30? Half an hour early.
Because tomorrow and day after tomorrow, what we will do, we'll complete the remaining stuff. I mean, not remaining. What are the actually how many like we'll. This is execution. So execution actually will go and we will go the defect handling, life cycle, then type of defects, and defect severity priority, and what is actually severity and this one, and testing phases. So what are the deliverables? Like these are already discussed, but what I'm doing, I'm giving a complete real-time stuff. For this, actually, I have added. Okay,
Okay.
because deliverables, what are the deliverables we have discussed? Am I right? But I have to give a complete picture what is actually as part of deliverables. So which is the, like you are my client, I'm your company, I'm a testing company. So there should be a contract between you and me. So that need to be actually written like at the time of contract. So once this phase is completed or your testing is completed, these are the actually things you have to give as a delivery. Such kind of actually we have to discuss. So we'll discuss mostly, and you asked about like there are so many testings which I have seen.
Yeah.
So we will just discuss about what is unit testing, integration testing, system testing, unit testing, integration, and acceptance testing, and see when should I start writing test cases. So based on the model, like when you have to start. So such kind of actually already discussed, but we'll just take each 1 or 2 minutes of the particular function, the particular topic. So what is actually this? We'll go around, we'll target actually
So at what
around
time
50.
tomorrow?
You tell me actually, tomorrow is it 1.5 hour possible for you?
Yeah, okay, that's why we'll start at 7:30 and we'll stop at 9.
Okay, 7:30 to 9 tomorrow we'll plan. And what about Sunday?
Sunday, can you take on in morning instead of evening?
At what time morning you require?
Actually, Sunday, how many hours you will take? 1.5 or 2 hours you will take?
1.5 or 2 hours. Actually, by Sunday, if you cover everything, so
Okay.
now you will be in a position to write a test cases. Okay, am I right?
Okay.
So then from Monday onwards, what we will do? We will do real-time exercises.
Okay.
So what I will do, I'll just give you one website and I will give 4 5 requirements, and then you have to write a test cases for that and you have to execute those test cases. So you have to find out the defects or find out the issues in that particular, and how you'll report and all this actually we need to discuss as a exercises. So
Okay.
what is actually we have discussed up to the Sunday, we will just work on from Monday real-time exercises till
Okay.
4 days daily. I will give some exercises and you have to work on that.
Okay.
So then you will be in comfortable zone. So because you are going to publish like yourself as in 5 years. So for that actually minimum you have to write a test cases. Am I right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that is important. So the kind of exercise you have to do. Otherwise, your manual testing is completely writing test cases. Depend upon the main manual testing on test cases.
Okay.
So is it okay?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
because already this sheets actually we have discussed. No need to bother about this. Actually, why I am giving this all, because for understanding. So up to this is very 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Okay.
See
Okay.
up to 63, because these are what is this regression testing? We already discussed. Do you remember? Just now we discussed.
Okay.
But
These are testing types or testing techniques.
these are the type of testings, like as part
Okay.
of functional testing, as part
Okay.
of your system testing.
Okay.
See, system testing is complete box,
Okay.
but functional testing is a part of system testing.
Okay.
In the same way, security testing is a part of system testing,
Okay.
and in performance testing is part of system testing. But as a manual tester, what you will do, you will just concentrate on the functional testing. Whereas a automation tester, what they will do, they will work on the automation. Suppose the same work which you are doing manually, you will work on the automation by using tools.
Okay.
Or if somebody actually work on the performance testing, he will use that performance testing tool and he will work on the performance. So that is actually out of box for you as a functional tester.
Yeah.
No need to worry. But if somebody asks what is performance testing, you are in a position to explain in your interview. That is the only
Okay.
reason. Okay. So after this automation life cycle, and what is automation? Because why I'm just telling, these are the interview questions. So I'm just adding some more information. Even automation is not part of our course, but why I'm giving this information? Because you have to, after 5 years, suppose you keep your resume. If I ask, do you have any idea about automation? If you say, what is automation? Definitely it will be a problem. Am I right?
Yeah.
So such kind of actually interview sake, experience sake, these points actually we will add. But what is automation testing is that knowledge is, for the definition sake, is okay. But if you want to learn automation, you have to learn so many tools in the market. So you have
Okay.
to go particular automation course for that particular. But up to automation, we'll teach. Okay.
Yeah.
Benefits, like what is the actually drawbacks of manual. To avoid the manual drawbacks, we'll go for the automation.
Okay.
Such kind of actually. So what are the false benefits, and what is actually the testing limitations? What is criteria for this? and tester responsibilities. You have to know the responsibilities, am I right?
Yeah.
And how to prioritize your test cases. You have 100 test cases, but sometimes actually you'll have very small time. Am I right?
Okay.
So, but to cover the functionality, you have written 100 test cases, but they have given only 2 days for execution. At that time, what you will do? You have to give a prioritization. That means which are important. You have to, out of 100, only 25 is mandatory. So I will execute only 25 to avoid more errors in the application. Even for that, what you have to do, you have to share those 25 test cases to your client, take a approval. Because of time constraint, I can't able to execute everything. Only 25 test cases which are very crucial and important I am going to execute. So at that time, because time constraint, you have to prioritize your test cases. So everything is real time here. When you have to stop your testing and how to prioritize, we have discussed. How to increase the efficiency. Suppose when you like everybody will do testing, but you have to do
Efficient.
by following standards and following actually some kind of actually standards, you will get a complete good team and the output will be 100% quality. For this, we need a team of like technical people required, domain people required, testing people required. This kind of actually information I have added this. See, you have like one project is coming up. That particular project is built on SAP. Okay.
Okay.
So I need a developer for SAP. I need tester to test that particular SAP. Suppose for this, that is application. SAP is a technology, but that is actually on retail domain. Am I right?
Yeah.
More is our client. So retail is our domain. So here actually testing, domain, technology. 3 areas actually you have to take the people.
Yeah.
So 10 people required. At that time, as a manager, as a lead, what I have to understand, testing around 50% of the people testing should know.
Yeah.
And at least 2-3 people have knowledge on domain. If 10 people have a knowledge, it is okay. But at least 2 to 3 people should have knowledge on that. Because in market I didn't get 100% results. At least 2-3 people I can get it now.
Yeah.
In the same way, SAP. Suppose you know testing, but you don't know SAP. But one guy actually he know SAP, but he don't know testing. So if I actually merge these two people, like technology people and testing people, what you will do? You will just teach testing or maybe train testing concepts to that particular technical people, and technical people will guide you like what is the actually technology, how you have to test the technology. He will guide you.
Okay.
Am I right? This kind of actually team I have to build, because if you go as a lead or if you go as a manager at that time, so they will ask you such a type of questions. Suppose like I'm going to give a opportunity to form a team, and my technologies are SAP and my domain is retail, and you have to select a 10 people of admin and 5 people of testing. How you will actually select? So at that time you have to give a justification. See, every to improve the efficiency of testing, we need a people from technology, domain and testing. So based on the number of people, I will choose. If it is a testing, I will take 50% of the testing. If more number also available, I will take domain from with those who are having a testing knowledge or technical uh, with the testing knowledge I will take. Based on that, you have to say that. So mostly this is the common industry standards I have given here. So testing projects, you have to take 50% of people who have a knowledge on testing, domain around 30, technology 15. So this is the criteria. I will select my people, and I will, because of this, I will get a proper results.
Yeah.
So this is 2 slides. It is talking about the same. So let me go through this. Anyway, we have discussed in the recent years. It has shown a lot of outsourcing in the testing area. It's the right time to think and create a process to improve the efficiency of testing process. The best team will result in the efficiency of your deliverables. Testing should contain around 55% of hardcore testing units and 30 percentage. Let me add this percentage in this domain knowledge and 15% of technical engineers. Why it is actually required to arrive these figures? The past project has shown 50 to 60% of test cases as written based on the testing techniques. See, to write to do testing, mostly that particular testing tester should have testing techniques. Who knows the testing techniques? Mostly testers. Am I right?
Yes.
So, so that is actually why we are going 55% the testing people, because techniques, those who knows, they will write test cases very fast.
Yeah.
So 28% to 33% of test cases are result to cover the domain. So domain also there are some test cases. So if domain people are also there, they will write those test cases very fast.
Yeah.
And technical, suppose SAP. So if you know knowledge on SAP, so what it like contains, how it, the flow will look like, and what is actually the transactions and all this. If you know, you can easily write. Am I right?
Yeah.
So this is the actually standards. So this is maybe varies around 50 to 45% based on your project to project, but normal standards I have given this. So these are actually before interview you go through this, you have almost all answers in this around 70 PPTs. Around 74 I have prepared. So these 74 PPTs you understand, and you actually out of 70, around 30 to 40 are very important. If you go those 40 and understand those 40, it's more than enough to face an interview and the success in your interview. Am I right? Shrikant?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So mostly I have covered this. On top of this, what I am going to give one document which I am going to share to you. So let me open the document actually. I'll share the particular document for the I have kept somewhere else testing manual. So this testing manual I will give you all the information it is having. So I'll change accordingly. So everything actually it contains. So you can go each and every point which I have discussed. So you can go through this and you can understand. You can come out with the queries. So once Sunday, what I will do, I will share all this, and we will do exercises and real-time projects. So you will be in a position to face the interviews, and you can write a test cases, and you can do in a real-time activities. You are in a position to maintain.
Okay.
So this document also I will share. So it is actually properly documented, and each and everything actually it is there. So no need to worry. If you don't write a running notes also, no need to worry about this. Everything actually it is there. It is actually need to change. This is actually you also can change, no problem. I'll share directly. Don't feel bad. Just some of the points actually I have deleted and I have some kind of changes I have done. So maybe because of that it is actually some deviations. But information is 100% available. If you go through this document and this PPTs, you will be 100% actually eligible for to face the interviews. On top of you can go YouTube and some other documents which you can go. Okay, but mostly I have documented everything, which is the real time we are discussing in the class, and which is actually definitions and all this. It is in your document and PPTs. So it is more than enough. Okay.
Okay.
Why I have taken more time today? Because tomorrow and day after tomorrow we'll close our testing theory. Then we have to more concentrate on practicals. Okay. So tomorrow we'll just at 6:30, 7:30.
7:30.
So 7:30 to 9:30. Okay.
Okay.
And Sunday also we'll take 1 hour because Sunday is off for you. We'll take 1 hour. So Sunday is anyway a holiday for you. So by Sunday afternoon, I will finish the complete theory and I will give some assignments. Okay. So you go through the documents on Monday or Sunday whenever it was possible, and I will give some small exercises. You have to write test cases for the exercises, and I will validate your test case. Review like your test cases are properly, you are in a position to write a test case or not. Okay.
Okay.
So then once we finished, we will just discuss about the defect life cycle and how you will report your defects. So we will finish our course by defect life cycle. So exercises are very important. We will do 2-3 days. Then defect life cycle we will discuss, and how to report the defects also we will discuss. So by that we are covering all the testing topics. So no need to worry. I will share all the information. So once you go through that, you will do your exercises. No need to worry. Okay, Sikant.
Yeah.
So I will share up to what extent?
37 or 18?
I will share all the document today because mostly we have discussed. So no issues. I will share everything because if I share like it will be hectic. That's what actually I am sharing day one.
Okay.
If you want to go through, like I will share today, or otherwise what I will do, like I will share tomorrow complete documentation. If you want me share today or complete.
No, give me tomorrow so that Sunday I can go through.
Yeah, that's what actually I will share this document tomorrow, complete document.
Okay.
At least we are going to cover everything. Okay. Okay, na?
Okay.
Good night. Okay.
Okay, good.